Imagine this. You're sitting at your desk, headset on, script ready, and your excitement building to make that connection. But as soon as you dive into your pitch, the other person cuts you off, disengages, or goes silent. Sound familiar? Here's the thing. Most of these drop-offs aren't because people don't want what you're offering. They happen because of simple, avoidable mistakes. By fixing these, you could turn your conversations into golden opportunities. Today, we're diving into the top 10 cold calling mistakes and how to avoid them. Stay with me till the end for the insights that can elevate your cold calling confidence and make each call count. Ready to make a change. Act 1. Setting the scene and building urgency. All right, let's jump into it. Mistake number 1, lack of preparation. I get it. Sometimes you just want to dive in, but picking up the phone without preparation is like stepping into a boxing ring blindfolded. You'll get knocked down fast. Now, would you walk into a job interview without knowing anything about the company? Didn't think so. Preparation is power. Take just a couple of minutes to learn who you're calling. Check their company, their pain points, and maybe even recent news. This small effort goes a long way in making you sound like an ally, not a stranger. Now, while we're on the topic of being real, let's talk about the next big mistake, sounding too scripted. Mistake number 2, sounding too scripted. Here's the thing, no one likes talking to a robot. If you're reciting a script word for word, it's going to feel impersonal and, well, boring. The solution? Make the script yours. Think of it as a guide, but don't be afraid to adapt it. Imagine your favorite actor delivering a powerful line. It doesn't sound rehearsed, it feels real. Try recording yourself or reading it to a friend and asking if you sound natural. You'll find that a few tweaks make all the difference. And speaking of conversation flow, here's something that can kill it fast: talking too much. Act 2, building the momentum and keeping attention. Mistake number 3, talking too much. You've probably heard this saying before: God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Yet in sales, it's easy to go on a monologue about your product. Here's a truth bomb. People hate feeling sold to. Instead, flip the script. Ask open-ended questions like, what's your biggest challenge with? Or, how do you feel about it? The more they talk, the more insight you gain. And remember, people appreciate someone who listens. Speaking of listening, that brings us to mistake number 4, not addressing objections. And let's be real, objections can be intimidating, but avoiding them? That's a guaranteed deal breaker. Think of objections as invitations to dig deeper, not roadblocks. If someone says, "This sounds expensive," don't dodge it. Dive in. Say something like, "I understand. Can you tell me more about your budget expectations?" Think of objections as a chance to show you're adaptable, not a roadblock. It's all about staying in the conversation. And while we're building confidence, let's tackle one of the biggest mistakes of all: lack of confidence. Mistake number 5, lack of confidence. Now, this one's huge. If you don't believe in what you're offering, why should they? Confidence is contagious. When you're nervous, prospects can sense it. Practice is your best friend here. Record yourself, listen to your tone, and get feedback if possible. Think of yourself as a guide, someone they want to follow. And speaking of leading, don't forget to ask for the next step. Which brings us to mistake number 6. Mistake number 6, failing to ask for the next step. Picture this. You just had an incredible conversation, but instead of sealing the deal or setting a follow-up, you say, "Well, thanks for your time. Don't let calls end in limbo." It's like a movie without an ending. No one likes that. Make sure you end each call with a clear action, whether it's scheduling another call, sending information, or even setting a meeting. And that brings us to another missed opportunity: not listening enough. Then mistake number 7, not listening enough. Sometimes we're so focused on getting our points across that we forget to actually listen. And guess what? Prospects notice this. They feel unheard, and that kills the trust. Instead of just nodding along, take genuine interest in what they're saying. Not only will this help you tailor your responses, but it will make them feel valued. And speaking of listening, let's talk about people who often get ignored in this process. The gatekeeper. Mistake number 8, ignoring the gatekeeper. Now, this might sound counterintuitive, but gatekeepers can be your best ally or worst enemy. If you're polite and build rapport, they'll often open doors for you. Treat them with respect, and they may just become your biggest supporter in getting to the decision makers. Now you've made it this far. You're prepared, you're confident, and you've handled objections. But here's where many people stumble. They give up too soon. Act 3, climax and resolution. Mistake number 9, giving up too soon. Cold calling is a game of persistence. A no today isn't a no forever. It often just means not right now. Follow-up calls are critical. Keep a polite follow-up schedule. And remember, persistence with professionalism is key. And now we've come to our last and perhaps most important point, not reviewing and improving. Mistake number 10, not reviewing and improving. This one is for the pros. Think about it. Athletes review game footage, actors watch their scenes. Why not you? Recording your calls, replaying, and analyzing what went right and what didn't is gold. Make a habit of reviewing and learning, and over time, you'll notice your calls getting stronger and your close rate climbing. And there you have it, the top 10 cold calling mistakes and the fixes you can start applying today. Remember, even the best callers were once beginners. Practice makes progress, so stay determined and let every call bring you closer to that next yes. If this video gave you something to think about, make sure to subscribe to Cold Call Pros for more actionable tips. Comment below on the mistakes you've seen most often, or the one that made the biggest difference for you. Until next time, happy calling, and remember, every no brings you one step closer to a yes.